JDM beasts that shook up the scene and defined many of our childhoods. These are the top 10 JDM cars. The Mazda RX7 SD. This car is one of the most recognizable cars in history, from its features in films like Fast and Furious, to games such as Need for Speed Underground, Underground 2, Most Wanted, Carbon. I think 90% of all racing games have this car in it. It was powered by a 1.3-liter twin-turbo rotary motor that has been reported to rev as far out as 10,500 RPMs. With one of the bigger aftermarket support systems for this car, you can basically build it to do anything you want. The SD RX7 is regarded as one of the most well-balanced cars of all time. Now, I don't know about you guys, but with these, I've always liked them because of Fast and Furious, the first one. The red one that Vin Diesel drove in it. It's one of my favorite cars. The Toyota Supra MUK4. This JDM monster is easily one of the fastest cars to come out of Japan. Powered by a 2JZ GETT, the twin turbos were in a sequential setup. Below 3,500 RPMs, the exhaust is routed to a single turbo to help with lag. Once the motor reached 3,500 RPMs, the second turbo was slowly spun up till about 4,000 RPMs. And it would reach peak boost and all hell broke loose. Just kidding, these cars were not insanely fast from the factory. But with a few bolt-ons and upgraded turbos, this beast could walk many domestics and imports alike. This car was also featured in Fast and Furious, if you guys didn't know that, in most racing games. I'm sure everybody knows that though, everybody knows these cars. But the Supra was so pretty, it won Popular Mechanics Design and Engineering Award in 1994. Which, you know, that's a pretty big accomplishment. I find the Supras to be very beautiful cars, honestly. Me and my cousin Nate, we liked Supras before we even knew what Supras were. Back when we were like 9 or 10, playing Underground and Underground 2. It's definitely one of the most well-engineered cars to come out of Japan. They can hold 1,000 horsepower on a stock bottom end, so that's not that bad. Like, I'm used to 1,000 horsepower. I drive a Honda, guys. The Nissan 240SX S14. The 240SX is probably one of the most sought after chassis. They are very popular amongst the drifting culture due to their low weight and high aftermarket support. You can build a 240 to do just about anything you want, within reason. Stock, these cars came with a 2.4 KA24DE motor. While not the fastest motors, Nissan makes it very stout. In 1997, the S14 underwent a facelift. The pre-1997 models were endeared the Zenki model. The post-1997 models were titled the Kuki, forever marking its spot in history and among our hearts. These cars, they're amazing. They're almost the essence of JDM. Almost. Just look at those lines. That is a mean looking car. I've only seen a few of these in like in actual real life, but I've always liked the way they look and the way they sound. And I would love to get one to drift and then do a SR20 swap on it. Woo! Or maybe a 2J. The Nissan Skyline GTR R34. The R34 GTR is probably one of the most recognized cars in history. It was driven by Paul Walker in a few of the Fast and Furious movies, as well as it's been in almost every major racing game ever. Came with an RB26 DETT, all-wheel drive, ball-bearing turbos, and form metal intercooler piping. It also featured a display. Now this display was something nobody had ever seen in a Skyline before. It had boost pressure, oil temp, water temp, all of that. Everything you needed to be a race car, it had that. These are one of my favorite cars of all time. They didn't nickname it Godzilla for no reason. Do you guys ever get confused with these? And I think it's Impalas that have like the same rear tail lights. It's kind of funny. It's like the poor man's GTR. I don't know how I feel about this guy's wing though. I mean, it's his build, to each his own, but I don't like that wing that much. This one kind of sounds like a hypercar almost. Like, I wonder how fast this black one is. The MX5 Miata. Everybody knows what a Miata is. Although it lacked power with like 90 wheel horsepower from factory, it was a small enough car to where it didn't really matter. You could still have fun in it. It has a perfect 50-50 weight ratio, as well as a very high aftermarket support, so it makes it very popular amongst the drifting crowd and drag racing, and with the LS swaps and everything you can do to these cars, yeah, they're definitely one of the most JDM cars of all time. But in Japan, it's not called the Miata, it's called the Anus Roadster, which is kind of hilarious if you ask me. The Anus. I would like to build one of these one day, but I feel like I'm a little too big for it. Mitchell's a little shorter than I am, but I feel like he might not even be able to fit. Now, I can't tell in this clip, guys, but you help me be the judge. Is this a cop that's filming him, or his buddy, do you think? The Evo 9. This 4G63 powered all-wheel drive beast of a machine features piston shocks, BBS forged wheels, HID headlights, and a Momo steering wheel. This car was built for nothing other than speed. They're beautiful too. I find them to be very beautiful cars. These are Mitchell's favorite cars. So there might be an Evo that comes on the channel. Don't mark our words yet though. If you ever wanted a factory-built race car, this one is for you. But you could also get the kids to school too, because 4 doors. You know what I'm saying? Dad issues. I don't have those issues, but I know some of you do. It looks like this GTR gives up. Watch this clip. He was just like, I'm not even gonna try. Goodbye. Ooh, that one's nice. Be nice. My name is Borat. The Mitsubishi Eclipse. This is another 4G63 all-wheel drive powered Mitsubishi vehicle. It had 2 generations, both of which had an all-wheel drive turbo option. The GST was about the same thing, but without the all-wheel drive. So if you're looking for a front-wheel drive fast Eclipse, look for the GSTs. If you want the all-wheel drive turbo ones, those are the GSXs. In the car culture, these are referred to as DSMs, and they are very loved amongst the community. My dad and I were working on the first gen before we had to move, and yeah. But I loved that car. That car was so cool. It is known to throw down with some supercars with some bolt-ons and some engine work and whatnot, but you know, that's just because Mitsubishi knows what they're doing. Well, Diamond Star Motors knew what they were doing. But these were in Fast and Furious and Need for Speed as well. Mostly the second gen. There weren't a lot of movies that featured a first gen Eclipse. They were all second gen Eclipses. Even games, I don't think there was any first gens. Which is kind of sad because I think they're some of the cooler ones. The MX5 GT. I personally have owned 2 of these cars, and I find them to be very, very JDM, with the box style, the turbo, the 4-wheel steer. Everything about these cars is JDM. They also had like electronically controlled suspension that you could change from inside the cab, and then the middle vents for the air oscillated, so they would just move back and forth. You would feel that. It was nice. The aftermarket support for them is pretty much non-existent at this point, but that being said, if I found another one of these, I would pick it up instantly. I love these cars. I would love to have the chance to build another one. They're just, watch. It featured an F2T motor that pushed out 145 stock horsepower. But with some pretty fairly simple mods, this car would get up and go. I would keep up with some diesel trucks in mine, which is kind of insane. I find them to look a lot like the R32s, to be completely honest. They are a single cam motor. I don't know if you guys know that, but they're single cams. The Nissan 300ZX. This VG30 DETT powered beauty is close to everybody's hearts. It featured active rear wheel steering and variable valve timing. With its nose-like front end, this car is unmistakably beautiful. And supposedly they are pretty fast. I don't know. I almost bought an orange one, but it was in some pretty bad condition, so I didn't buy it. But if I had the chance, I probably would buy a fair lady, just because they're beautiful cars. These cars clean up very well with their body line. They're very mean too. Like, they just look so mean. Nissan 240Z. This little legend first came to American shores in 1970. It featured a 2.4-liter L24 inline-6 with a cast iron block and an aluminum alloy head. This car quickly came into our hearts when drifting first hit the American shores. Its beautiful, sleek lines and easy motor swaps quickly marked its place in the aftermarket scene. It also has rally roots, having won the 21st East African Safari Rally in 1973. Now these are the absolute most JDM vehicle. If someone asks you to name a JDM car, your mind instantly thinks of this, because it's so ingrained in history for being that JDM perfect, just amazing machine all around. that concludes this video, guys. But we would really appreciate a like, comment, and subscribe. If you enjoyed making this or watching this video as much as I did making it, thank you.